Hi, and welcome to this Big Idea session. I'm super honored and proud to be up here with members from Ariadne. My name is Jay Shields. I work for Pomeroy, and we, alongside Ariadne, are sponsoring this Big Idea session. So today, we're going to be talking about the power of understanding our customer and associate journeys in physical locations, and in some cases, outside of physical locations. To my left is co-founder and president of Ariadne, George Pipolitis, and the SVP of Americas, Verlin Yaud. So let me turn it over to George to tell you guys a little bit about Ariadne.
Hi from my side. I hope the sound is good. Since the session is about big ideas, so this is I want to speak a little bit about our big idea. And what you see here is the levels of corruption in the x-axis.
Wait, are you bringing politics into retail?
That's what it sounds like.
Bear with me for a minute. It might sound unrelated, but I promise you,
okay,
it will be related to retail. And in the y-axis, you see the levels of growth per country. You can see that there is some correlation. For example, if we take USA, which is a developed country, it is growing though, and it has a very low corruption, versus India, which is slightly worse, a little bit more corruption in the country, but also very much higher developing acceleration, let's say. Then we would expect to see the Congo Republic somewhere there with in the growth level. However, in reality, Congo Republic is somewhere much lower. Okay, I was looking at this data, and this data reminds me very much our data. When we visualize how much your customers, the customers of in retail stores, they are queuing, they are torturing, versus the sales that the store performs.
So you're saying corruption and government growth is an analogy to torturing people with long lines and store sales.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you can see, for example, this figure, which is from our data, and with multiple customers, you can see that a customer may sell 50. This is all the same product. It is laptops, for example. It's IT product. It doesn't matter what it is. You can see here. Customers may buy 50 units in a day, and they are fine to wait 5 minutes in queues. Queues to pay, queues to be served, queues to be delivered, the summary of the queuing time in the store. You can double this, so you may have more customers coming, and they can still be patient enough, even 8 minutes waiting in queues, and you can sell 100 units. But of course, this doesn't happen. So when you want to double from 100 units to 200 units, you need to optimize. The queuing time of customers that they manage to double this to sell 200 units, it is almost 3 minutes.
So this is actual data from 100 different customers around the globe showing how you can use customer journey data to optimize for greater sales. Great.
And there's a direct correlation, correct?
Yeah.
It looks like.
He's a scientist, so he's going to be careful with quoting the
Yes.
numbers for sure.
Yeah, let me jump in here really quick and just talk quickly just about store optimization. How many people in this room feel that store optimization is a top 5 priority for 2024? Show of hands. Okay. All right. We're going to go with 25% of the people in the room.
Well, I got more like 31 and a half, but okay.
Or 31. Fine.
That's all right.
So when they walk into a store, when a customer walks into a store, do you think understanding, and we're kind of leading the witness here, but understanding the customer journey is important to store optimization, right? Show of hands. All hands. Okay, fantastic. Last question, I promise, and then you guys are off the hook. So when we actually are looking at customers walking in the store, what about store labeling, store scheduling? Do we feel like that is an important part of store optimization? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I think one of your favorite quotes is actually an inspiration for Ariadne.
Yes. So when we talk about optimization, we speak about improvement, and you can only improve what you can measure. And this is also our motto. We are trying to share this with all of our people in our team and all of our customers. And when we talk about optimization, what can be optimized, right? So you can optimize the scheduling, of course. You can optimize the store layout. And what I mean by that is having more staff, more sales in your store when you have more customers, and optimize the product placement so that the distribution of people buying your products, it is as normal as possible. Then it is the brand awareness. So how far somebody is going to travel in order to visit your store. Or if somebody is passing by your store, how possible is that they will enter? And then we have the omni-channel marketing. And this is also, it is a buzzword we were discussing with Berlin. Everybody has
never heard the term omni-channel before, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Buzzword from 2016, I think, and ever since.
It is omni-channel marketing, which is funny because we are a physical world. And in physical world, you can advertise online, and you have to advertise physically. So it's always omni-channel. So when we talk about retail and marketing, it's always omni-channel marketing.
Mm-hmm. So George and Verlin, just to kind of catch the audience up, the questions that you had on the previous slide are questions that can be answered with data from Ariadne.
They can be answered with data, right? So we all use data to run our business. Certainly online and e-commerce, you get a plethora of data. You get data on everything you could ever imagine and more data than you really want. The challenge has been in physical store space. We have a complete lack of data. And so what Ariadne has tried to do is create the analogy to e-commerce data, but in the physical store environment.
Awesome. How?
So that data. Well, let's talk a little bit about how. The top illustration here is one of our clients and the way that they were mapping customer journeys in their store. You might recognize this retailer. They have a very distinct path that goes through their store, oftentimes 2 stories. I'm guessing you've all guessed who this is. You'll see a video from them in a moment. They were doing this with pencil and a clipboard and a stopwatch. With Ariadne, they don't only do this twice a year for maybe a sampling of customers. They get these passed 100% of the time for 100% of customer visits, 100% of store open hours, and they get it not only for their customers, but also their store associates. So digitalize the entire store journeys of anyone that's in the store. And with Ariadne, you do it without having it's totally passive and anonymous to the store visitor, the shopper. There's no smartphone app. There's no registration to Wi-Fi. There are no cameras involved. There's no cellular data being gathered. There's no proprietary hardware requirement. The Ariadne software platform allows them to do it without those things. How do we do that in particular? First off, how many of you are carrying a phone? How many of you are carrying 2 devices right now in your pocket? Okay, should I go to 3? How many are carrying 3 devices right now? We got a few hands, okay?
You're doing 2 jobs.
What Ariadne does is we listen for the signals coming out of those devices. We're not grabbing anything confidential. We're not grabbing a MAC ID or an IMEI or any data. We're looking at the signal and we're assigning a randomized ID to it. So we're listening to that signal, and even if you're airplane mode, your phone is throwing out those signals. We can still listen to them. One of our customer sets is airports, where you would expect people to be in airplane mode all the time, and we still are very effective. Our system listens to those signals. Now, up until literally yesterday, our system involved adding Ariadne sensors to your environment to listen to those. What we announced yesterday is the ability to plug our software into your current Wi-Fi infrastructure and use your Wi-Fi infrastructure also as a sensing network, listening just like our devices did. So dropping the effort to implement this solution even further. And then what our software does is it takes the signal from all these listening points and using Dr. Pipolidis and his co-founders' technology, very accurately pinpointing where every single individual is, not just in a moment of time, but throughout their entire journey through the store. So literally you get a path like you saw earlier on that IKEA chart, which shows you the path of every single customer, how long they spend there, where they go, when they go, pulling all of that data together so that you can use that to drive business decisions and to drive optimization.
Awesome.
Okay.
Can you also do this for scheduling?
Well, I'll let Dr. Pipolidis here lead us in the scheduling.
Thank you.
Or otherwise called George number 3.
Yes.
I have an example from this is a real scheduled employees with visitors of an area inside a store that serves coffee, and you can see with the blue line in the figure in the upper right corner, you can see that all the employees, because we schedule employees as it is a factory, they start their shifts in the morning, even though the customers or the majority of customers, they are arriving in the noon.
Right.
So so only by looking at this figure, but I bet with you, just bring me your schedule and let's see how optimized it is. It is about 50-50. 50% it is good enough, and 50% it is just out of sync with your visitors. So you have visitors, you can see here with the red line, you see the peak of the visitors at 12 o'clock during the day. And this is when the least employees are in the stores. We did this as already Verlin has mentioned. Or do you want to add something?
No, go ahead. I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have a video.
I am Panos. I'm the market manager for IKEA Barendrecht Rotterdam. Ariadne Maps is helping us to capture the commercial opportunities, the cross-merchandising opportunities that can give us more than €500,000 annually on our sales turnover and more than €300,000 in profit, which gives a very significant return on investment. Ariadne Maps is enabling us to monitor and control our queuing time, to anticipate the peaks in the waiting areas, and to manage our resources efficiently. We can even spot staff availability needs in areas that are not staffed and the visitation flow is increasing.
So this was not a passive, this was not this proactive schedule that you are publishing on Thursday and everybody has to follow for the entire next week. That was in real time. I figured out that I need more cashier open, so I open a new cashier in real time. The employee gets a notification using their Teams account or their internal communication device, and they open a new cashier. The second, as we listed them, the second thing that you can optimize is the store layout. And with the store layout, you answer several questions, such as how far you can place a product and still be purchased, right? So how far inside your store people will walk in order to grab a product and buy. And what we see with our data, of course, this is not applied to every product. There are also destination products. There is a lot of classification that needs to be done before. But the general rule of thumb is every time that you double the distance, you reduce your sales by 6%. So the deeper a product it is, the less likely for somebody to purchase.
And this isn't textbook. This is from the data that, again, we've gathered from these 100 customers. Okay. This is fact-based data that impact of placement in the store to sales.
Yes. So we are not doing consulting here. It's just, we are just communicating patterns that we have seen in our data, selecting various different customers in several different countries with several different products. So it is kind of it seems that there are patterns that they emerge. Another question that you can answer, for example, is how the area affects the conversion of a product. And you can see that every time you double the area, you increase the sales almost by 500%, which was also amazing. And I wanted to bring it to these slides. But the basic key question that we answer is when you add a shortcut. So when you interrupt the flow of your customers, I don't know if a trained eye can identify here the shortcuts. There are at least two, which are a bit obvious to find. But every time you introduce a shortcut to your store, you are losing 13 to 18% of your customers for the next area. So the 13% of the customers, they just choose the shortcut and they leave the store faster. Do you want to add something? Sorry.
No, I would just say I'm always looking for shortcuts.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the perfect example of what is the impact if they can figure out how to incent me to go in the direction they want to go.
Yeah. And what about you, Jay?
Oh, I'm a shortcut girl for sure.
Yeah.
I could go in the back of an IKEA and get to my plants and get to the cash wrap without going through the whole thing.
This is amazing because our customers, they thought that their visitors spend 1 hour inside the store when not even the median is 1 hour. So there is a 75th percentile. There is maybe the people who will enjoy the store will spend an hour, but most of the people that spend less than 30 minutes in a 400,000 square feet store.
Yeah. So this was a huge revelation to IKEA to understand that where they thought every customer was spending an hour to an hour and a half, 2 hours in the store, their average was 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If your average is 30 minutes, think about how many people are spending 5 to 10 minutes in the store, shortcutting the whole store.
Yeah.
So a huge revelation, they had no idea.
This is another furniture retailer for whom we didn't optimize. So we blocked entirely a path which had considerable impact to the revenue and to the distribution of the visitors. So more visitors now start visiting areas that they were not visiting before because of shortcuts. Let's play the video.
Before Ariadne, we were using sales data as the only indicator for measuring the performance of our store MindMax. Ariadne has, for example, enabled us to make important changes to our store layout that increased customer visitation to specific areas by 21%, which led to sales increase of up to 40% for certain product categories.
So they increased their sales in this area by 40%. Even I didn't believe him. And I asked him to share the data, the sales. So he had to share the sales data with us in order to identify that this was true.
Too good to be true.
That's true.
Too good to be true.
And it is a big retail chain in Germany. I don't know if people recognize it.
I think this one is interesting. I think when we start to talk about omni-channel marketing, most people think about e-commerce marketing, really, and still in the old patterns of physical stores. With this data, our customers are now able to do some marketing, some very customized marketing that has very high impact. Some of us are seeing this a little bit here in the US. I don't know, is anyone here a Chick-fil-A fan? I'll admit to it here. My name is Verlin. I'm a Chick-fil-A fan. I'm in recovery. Our customers are using this data to do many of the things that you see Chick-fil-A doing. For instance, when I drive past my local Chick-fil-A, when I drive past any Chick-fil-A in the country now, I get a message pop up on my phone that says, hey, welcome to Stone Creek Chick-fil-A, or welcome to Delaware X Chick-fil-A, right? They're not proactively marketing anything to me. They're just recognizing me that I'm there. They're taking away the creep out factor. They're taking away the awkward factor, enabling these kinds of solutions for the retailers that are here.
What happens if you have a situation where you do want to reach out to that particular person walking in a store?
Yeah, we'll show you exactly how that works.
This is a good
Go ahead and do the first scenario.
Yeah,
Go back one. Yeah.
This is going to be someone walking by the store.
Yes.
Yeah.
So imagine a loyal customer, somebody who has joined your loyalty program.
Berlin Chick-fil-A.
Yes. They pass by the store. You can send a message. Hey, why don't you come back? We have this offer, this new menu item that you can enjoy.
So turning a passerby into a turning in customer, right?
Okay.
And let's say that you are too shy to do this, or you.
High-end retail, where it's not
high-end.
necessarily a drive-by, but I want someone to know that I've walked in, and the data of me shopping for that brand is important. What would you do with that?
Exactly. So when you go into the store, we don't need to disturb you, but we can disturb the sales representative inside the store. So this, they can receive the message that, oh, this customer belongs to our loyalty program, and they have visited this. Even we can, as we talk about omnichannel marketing, link this to their browsing history in the store website, so you know what products have they discovered.
Yeah, I was actually talking to a client this morning, and without saying anything about it, they brought up this scenario. Now, many of us, we've been talking about this for 20 years, ever since loyalty programs and CRM existed. But now they're going to look at using Ariadne to identify who are the top 10% of their customers. And when a top 10%er walks into the store, prompting the store manager to go personally meet that customer and give them a very personalized customer experience.
Yes.
Berlin and George, is loyalty required to make that happen?
Not specifically loyalty, but in order to do this, we have to add on a layer to Ariadne, and that is an opt-in layer so that you can actually communicate and identify the individual. I said it was passive and anonymous previously for all store visitors. In this case, they've opted into some kind of a program that allows that retailer connect to them one-on-one and communicate that personal data to either a store associate or to the customer themselves.
Also to answer, I have also some data here from customers. So
Perfect.
when they are advertising their loyalty or their opt-in mechanism, 1 in 4 of the visitors are opting in. One in 4.
1 in 4 customers opt in when they know.
Yeah,
When they know.
Wow.
Yes. It is active. It is active, but it is very successful. It is very successful.
And from an opt-in, for those of you, opt-in can be as easy as opting in on the retailer's mobile app, or for those of you that travel, when you go to an airport and opt in to airport Wi-Fi, the opt-in terms and conditions can be there. We provide navigation, store navigation as part of our solution. Opt-in is contained in that store navigation, or you can run a simple promotion with a QR code on displays, digital or physical, and people can opt in through that mechanism. So there are lots of very simple ways based on your particular marketing philosophy to opt in and to be able to gather that first party data and interact either after the fact or in fact in real time as well.
So people can opt in by simply scanning a QR code for navigating inside your shopping center, store, or expo. And what better video to advertise this bi-directional link of communication than NRF, the previous that happened during this year, NRF Protect. Yeah.
We have a very large show floor. It's kind of important for our users to be able to access the floor plan, find who they want to talk to, connect with those exhibitors on the floor, and go and find the sessions. We always operate in these rather large buildings that conferences sometimes have a very complex structure of where do people have to go and then ultimately we can also start to perhaps take a look at these analytics, dive in a little deeper and associate the types of people and what they're interested in. Some of the value that might even somehow give to our exhibitors as a return on investment. And we thought we'd give it a try.
Let's talk about brand awareness,
Okay.
at a high level.
Okay. So very fast on brand awareness, this is the distribution of how far people will travel to visit the stores of our customers. So this is a histogram that it has the kilometers in the x-axis and the frequency in the Y. So you can see neighborhood stores, they may shave up to 15 kilometers distance. Traveling is, then we have middle-sized shopping centers or more recognizable shopping centers that they will travel 30 kilometers to reach this shopping center. And then we have more recognizable brands like IKEA, as we mentioned earlier, that they may travel even 50 kilometers or 60 kilometers to reach. This is more destination markets. Regarding the turn-in rate, so if people pass by your store, what is the probability of them entering? We have local brands. This is a very local German brand for fashion store. I don't expect people to recognize it, but you should. It is growing. And then we have Intersport. The Europeans know it. I think the Americans not, but they have thousands of stores, of fashion stores in all over Europe. And then you have the brand that everybody recognizes, Starbucks, which has 1 in 3 people that pass by Starbucks. So if you spend 20 seconds in front of a Starbucks, there is 33% probability that you will enter.
Can I ask a question on whether or not, I know we're going to get short on time here, Ariadne then works outside the brick and mortar stores.
Yeah.
So can a retailer leverage this technology to figure out where they should or should not put a pop-up store?
That's a good question. And we have several customers that have asked us the same. We're constantly enhancing the product. So a new innovation that George and team have brought is that they've figured out how we can actually now gather that data to understand not only where people are coming from to your store, but where there may be gaps and holes in the marketplace for you to be able to put stores. Of course, there's lots of other analysis that goes with that, but that's also beneficial to our customers because that allows them to see anonymized data about competition and where their shoppers may be shopping the competitor and how often and where they're going as well.
Awesome. One more question, just because we're going to kind of start wrapping up, is where should somebody start? I think everyone, can drown in data. And I think, obviously we're here in this AI kind of forefront, but what's the right place to start if you are going to kind of do a trial with Ariadne? Yeah,
pick 1 or 2 locations and with a very low investment, implement a solution there. With Ariadne, we've actually designed it to have a no risk, no obligation test. After 60 days, you can pack it all up and send it back, or you can continue on with it. But pick a couple of locations, actually see how this data manifests itself. If you have a data analytics team, get them involved in helping to look at some of the insights. But I will be honest with you, even without a data team, it will be very clear where you see some data that impacts decisions that you had no idea existed previously in a very simple light lift test.
Awesome. And then does Ariadne help kind of translate that data if you don't have an analytics team?
We do. We have a team that can assist with that. And then we have partners who are expert at providing that kind of capability.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Okay.
Do you want to wrap up?
Yeah.
Great. Well, on behalf of Ariadne and Pomeroy, thank y'all very, very much for attending this Big Idea session. We will have Dr. Peopleidis and Verlin Yaud over here to the right to answer any questions that you've got, and members from Pomeroy over here if you've got any questions about how you can also support this in your store alongside other technology.
Also, if you want to know more about the technology itself, our booth is literally just down the aisle, 1115. And we're happy to talk to anyone about how you can use information like this, whether it's Ariadne driven or not.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Battery's dead. I've got these. They're fully charged if you guys need a boost. So thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.